the next thing we can do is like we can proceed for the Postman to check the APIs that we have just created. For that, let me write
So
it.
you don't need to relaunch these things to the server or any of that things, or is it automatically getting
Okay,
deployed to the
I
server?
just found some errors in here. Let me check this real quick. Okay, I just missed one part. This is why I was getting this error. Like we have to add one middleware. Middleware is used to like secure the secure the API endpoints. Like whenever like the token that I mentioned before, like you have to decrypt the token and check like to whether the token is like valid token. Like that's what like it has to check whether the token is valid or not. For that we have to add that middleware in here. My name it is auto.js. So in here, like this is the header name at which we would be sending the token. So it will simply check the token whether it's valid or not. That's what it does. If it is not valid, it will return the user like the token is not valid, or like if no token is there, like no token and hence authorization denied for the dashboard part. And then yeah, now we have resolved the problem. The problem was because I just forgot to add the middleware. This is why we're getting some errors. Now, as you could see, MongoDB connected, we are good to go for the API testing part. So for the login, the endpoint that I have mentioned was slash API slash login and 5000 because I set the port to 5000 to run the server. And in the headers in Postman, we have to set like the JSON payload, like the content type we have to set as like application slash JSON, as we are sending the data in JSON format. Then we have to add the payload, which is the username. Okay, for save. Then password. Username, let's say admin one. Password pass at the rate 123. Let's see. Okay, since this is a post request, so it has to be posting here as well.
So you're passing this username and password to the database through this Postman, and you're going to see if that record gets created in the database.
Yes, that's correct. But then, like, I mistakenly wrote login, but then I'll show like what happens if we send the wrong password. Since now no data is present in a database, so this
So
could
it
be a
should
good
have been
demonstration.
register. Is that what it
Yeah,
should
it
have?
should have been registered, but I kept it intentionally just to let the user like we can see like what happens when you send the wrong data, like the wrong credentials.
Got it. This is cool. It's hung up somewhere. It doesn't. It seems to be sending requests. It doesn't seem to be doing anything, or maybe it's a little slow.
Oh, there was some error. So,
Let's just follow the happy path for now. Anurag,
yeah,
I don't want to confuse our students with advanced debugging techniques. So can we just change the router to register and try to see if it works using the basic path?
yeah, sure, sure. Like the only reason we're checking now is like if we get some errors, like if the errors are still prevailing, it might affect in the front end as well for integrating.
Okay, now you're connected. Let's see if we can send it.
Yeah.
So this is the same error we were getting on the login. So it seems to be something to do with the code itself. Let's take a look at
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Can you take a break till I
Yeah, yeah.
resolve
Let's
this?
take a break of a few minutes while you debug
Mhm.
this, and we'll come back when you're ready.
Yeah, yeah. Started.
Yeah.
Okay, so like as you could recall, we were facing some errors. So this was just because like we forgot to parse the data that we are receiving from here. So I just figured it out. We parsed the data in here, and now we are good to go.
Wow, that
So
was quick. I
yeah,
I I wish I can have half as talent as you have when it comes to software debugging. That's amazing. Thank you, Anurag, for fixing it real quick.
no worries. So now we can register another user. We can try registering it another user. Let me write it as admin 123 and the password. Let me keep it as it is. Now let's do. As you can see, upon successful completion, I mean successful entry into database, we receive a token. This is this alphanumeric character. So
So
this
this
will
is
be
the
sent.
JWT token. Is that what the connection that you established with JWT returned, or is it something else?
Yes, Dhawan, that's exactly the JWT token, which is returning back.
Cool.
Yeah. Then next is like this one with the login registration. Now we can try to log in. So I'll be using the same credentials to log in.
Are you gonna post or get?
It's the post only.
Cool.
So I'm sending the same credentials and then logging in now. So as this data is already in the database, so and the password is also the correct one, and it is returned as the JWT token now once again. So with this token, we can set expiry date or time after which like it will get expired and it's no longer valid beyond that point.
Got it.
So this registration part is done, then we can enter. Then we can test with the other one, the employee one. Like, let us quickly add one employee detail. Mhm. So get request. I mean post request. Employee, but now we have to set data type, and then like we have to use this token to make access this particular API, since this is a protected one. Like in Postman, we can save headers, which will be covering up in the later modules. Simply going to use this token body. Let's say, what do you want to add? We start, let's say.
So this is the employee record that
Yes,
you're
this
adding.
this is the employee record which you're testing now, the employee API for adding new data.
I think you're missing a quote or email at the end of email, double quote.
Oh yes, this is why it's not repeated properly. Yeah, thanks.
Sure.
Salary, it's a number. Let me add in some numerical value. When date, like for date, like normally have to enter the book value. That's it. As you can see, like new employee added successfully. This is what was returned to. This is
So
what we are getting returned.
you added login, you added a user to the database so that the user can log in, and you have added an employee to the database so when the user logs in, she sees this employee data.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So now we can check the other API which is used to
By the way,
get.
this whole thing, this whole Postman thing is part of API testing. We are testing the connectivity of the entire product.
Yeah, before connecting it to the client or the front end, we like it is advisable to test the API endpoints using Postman because it saves us a lot of time, and then like we can debug it easily from here.
Yeah.
That's the reason we use Postman.
So I stand corrected. It's not entire product. It's just testing the connection between backend and database. That's what
Yes,
we are doing here right now.
yes, that's what. And now let me get all the APIs for that. Like I'd be doing a GET request, which we have mentioned before. Then I'll be adding the necessary headers, and then like it here I do not require any body. And yeah, it returns the all the employees from the database. Now currently, since it contains just one data
So
entry,
this was
so
a
this,
GET request, right? So this is where
yes,
you're
for
reading.
retrieving the
Yeah.
data from the database.
So you have tested adding things to the database. Now you're testing reading from the database, and both of those things have been successful. So let's move
Yes.
on to the next step.
Okay, sure. So this is what it happened. Then the API testing is done. The next part we can do is like we can connect these APIs with our front end.
Right. So let me just quickly share my screen.
Sure. Let me stop sharing for a while.